Hey guys, what's up? I got the new Lego 2025 UCS Death Star. This has been quite the controversial set. Lego was gracious enough to send me one to review for you guys here. And it is rather flat, but I'm not gonna lie, those images did make it look quite larger. It looked pretty large in the actual product images, but here it's actually a lot smaller in person. And there does seem to be a lot of design changes here. For example, we all know it's flat, quite like how it appears. But in the marketing, it looked like the turbo laser was on the side and the whole front opens up. But on the final product, that's not the thing. So this is just kind of like a blatant case of, false advertising, which is pretty upsetting. But I was able to get one of these done. Now, luckily, I did go ahead and build it before the video. It took a pretty long time because, as you know, there is 9,000 pieces. So I have it all put together here for review, and I thought maybe we could just take a look at this thing. It is rather expensive, coming in at $1,000 as retail. Now, I did actually have to delay a payment on my car to afford this, and I know you might be thinking, didn't you earlier say that Lego sent you this set for review? And they did, but they offered it to me for 75% of the retail price, which was quite kind of them. So I took them up on the offer, and for $750 I did get the new set. And I know this is a pretty controversial set. It's not round, it's like flat. But I thought we could just take a look together and kind of get our overall opinions when it's finished. So the first thing you're going to notice is this doesn't really look like a Lego set. Now, I don't know why that is. My guess is that for this price point and being part of the UCS line, they wanted, to make it more realistic, the details here. So they did kind of go ahead and do that. But yeah, so the product images are really misleading, actually, as it is a kind of a diorama set like it shows, but not quite in the way you might think. So first of all, here we have this orange lever that if you push down opens up, and I don't quite know what the point of this is right now, because honestly I forgot. You remember it took me like 7 years to build this thing, but why don't I just open this up for you guys so you can kind of see the big problems this set has and why it's so controversial. So there is actually an opening mechanism on the back, another orange lever. You have to push down here and then push out. And as you can see, that actually opens up the set. It is quite the thing to behold. So just give me a second here as I will structure it out for you. Oh geez. So this bit here folds up and has a little peg here that holds that up. Same here, there's a peg that goes there and a peg that goes here. And then these two pegs stick together, so it just keeps the whole thing up. And it does work. So here it is. It's kind of an open set. Now, again, yes, as I've said, the product images are really misleading here. It does look like a flat set, but when you open it up, there is actually a lot more going on than what they show you. So why don't we take a look at the minifigures really quick? So first one we have here is the Stormtrooper. And I'm not going to lie, this is like a really weird looking minifigure. I don't know why they decided to change the look of these figures specifically for this set. Again, maybe they thought that for $1,000 people might want more detail. But I don't know if I'm a fan, really. So there's the Stormtrooper that comes in the set. We also have this TIE Fighter here. He's also pretty small. TIE Fighter pilot, I mean. And we also got this other TIE Fighter pilot. It would appear we have Vader here. I don't know why he's missing his cape. Maybe we'll find that here in a second. But here he is. Here's Vader himself, the Dark Lord of the Sith. And, this is pretty good. Still no dual molding on the legs. It's still all black, and it is upsetting. But this is a pretty okay Vader figure, I think. So, moving right on, I would like to showcase This guy. This is another stormtrooper, but he actually does have a gun here, and you see the articulation. I don't know why they decided to do it so differently. You know, I don't know why these two guys are so different in appearance. It is kind of strange, but Lego didn't really give me a reason for why the minifigures look so different. I also have this guy, another TIE pilot. And, I don't remember there being this many TIE pilots listed on the page, but it's really not that big of a deal. I'm not going to complain about getting another figure. We also have this guy, kind of like a sand trooper with this blaster here. A lot of detail here. I like this guy quite a lot. He might actually be exclusive to this set. I don't know. So, we also have another TIE pilot. Again, I do not remember there being this many of them. So that is rather strange. Looks like we've got another guy stuck back here. And yet again, another stormtrooper. So that is kind of odd here. I do remember there being more figures with this set, but this set is pretty big. It's not as big as it was advertised to be, so it is possible I've lost them. Let me check in here. Okay, so it looks like we got a few things in here as well. There's this little side thing over here that opens up, and we have some pretty interesting guys in here. So it looks like we have another Vader. This one here, he actually has the cape and thing. I believe this one is the one that has that little scene with Obi-Wan. I think that's what this one's intended to be for. We have this here, and I believe this is actually the cape for our earlier Vader. So let me just find that guy and just apply that there. As you can see, he is now complete with his cape. We also have over here, hold on. Oh geez, it's shaking a lot. Another Vader with a similar cape design, and with this kind of movement with a different lightsaber. Lots of articulation here. This is a pretty good figure. Again, it might be exclusive. I'm not too sure. I do have two more, so I might have lost some, and I don't remember this one being listed either, but we got this really cool Boba Fett guy. It's pretty cool. I don't know if this is a new figure. We do have some printing on the legs, which is nice, and some arm printing here, along with some accessories on the back. This might be the best, original trilogy Boba Fett we've gotten in a while. And I also have, lastly, another TIE fighter pilot. It's very strange. I don't remember there being that many. And, I do think the Emperor should be around here somewhere. But I guess maybe I just misplaced him. It happens. So now that we've gone over all the figures I could find, at least, if there's any more, I might make an update video. I'm sure I've misplaced some of these guys. It is a really big set. Things can get lost. Why don't we go over the features that this set has? So first of all, as seen in the set images, there is an elevator that does work pretty well. It's kind of loud, but it gets the job done. And as you can see, the stickers, they are pretty big, Unfortunately, Lego does not do a lot of printed tiles these days, so we do have to put up with these rather large sticker pieces. There's this up here, this unfoldable thing. I'm gonna have to push this in here to get that out for you guys to look at. But this is just a little terminal, when I display this, I might just have one of these TIE pilots up there. It's not too big. You have another sticker piece up there. Pretty upsetting, but it is kind of what it is, So there is that portion of it and this cabinet area I mentioned earlier. So let's just close those up now and let's move over to over here. So if we look down here, we can actually see this. And this isn't a tile. This is actually, it is. This is all brick built, but this is actually all printed, which is pretty nice to see. At least Lego didn't go full cheapo on us. And we can see a sticker with these royal guards here. I think it's weird that they're realistic when it's a Lego set. Again, this entire Lego set, it is pretty strange, as I have kind of prefaced, it's not exactly your usual set. And it is kind of upsetting to see it look like this, but let's just continue here because I don't want this review to go on too long. So let's move down here a bit and look here. So this looks like some kind of med bay area, and this is where that lever comes in from before. You just simply push down on it and it opens up. I like to use it as a bit of an eject seat. You see we have like this little terminal heel and another sticker piece, unfortunately, but it just kind of is what it is. We have what looks like a Vader meditation chamber, but I don't think it closes. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to do this with my camera, but if you look around, we can see that there are other stickers, which is just really upsetting. There are a lot of stickers in this set, but it's really no big deal, I suppose. You can see there's a little chair for Vader there. So we can take this Vader and we can sit him down. We might have to take his cape off, which is pretty upsetting. But, you know, Lego has been kind of doing this lately, you know. So he can, okay, it's not an exact fit, but he can go in there. And if you really want, you can go in and get him to sit on those studs pretty well. Right now, it's just kind of in there, but there is a dedicated seat for him. So it's not all doom and gloom here. If we move up past the Vader meditation chamber and we move up our elevator, we can get to this top section here. So why don't we look at this section in greater detail? We do have another sticker piece up here, unfortunately, and this little play feature here. This is that same lever from earlier you have to push out. And this is like the turbo laser firing spot. So the laser actually pokes out here, and you can have like the guys sit there. You know, I didn't get any of those dudes. They're like the little Imperial engineers or whatever they're called. I forget. I don't know. Again, like I said, I probably have lost some of the figures, but I really just don't remember having this many TIE fighter pilots in this set. I didn't get the GWP, as this was an offer sent by Lego, even though I did spend 75% of the retail on it. I did not get it, and that's okay, as this is an early review set. So really, no bummers there. But we can look around a bit. So this just a little play feature here where it shoots out the laser. Again, I really don't remember any of this in the set, but it is here. And as you can see, it does look quite round for Lego. I always do get mad when Lego sets look too blocky because they do have rounded pieces. So they did do a really good job keeping the overall shape of this here. I want to bring our attention back over here, actually, very briefly, as I did not mention this. This can come out, and right here, there's a hook for this. So now this can sit here, and it's like a little hanger thing. So you can, you know, if you have any other Lego sets, like you can bring in your tie, and I'm assuming this is where the tie would hang as well, just based off the product images I have seen. And you can have a hanger, so you can, you can bring in, like, this is great for kids, but really for an $1,000 Lego set, it just doesn't feel necessary, especially since it takes up so much of the build, you know, it's just not really in scale. But, you know, you can have ships come in here, and, you know, if you really wanted to, right, we could come in here, and, you know, we could have, like, one stormtrooper here. Jeez, yeah. They're balancing on these later figures, I don't know. And you can have, like, some TIEs here, some TIE fighter pilots. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't send me the GWP. Maybe they just kept sending me those by mistake. But if I have any more minifigures, like I said, I will make a follow-up video and show you them, as they can be pretty cool. Even though a lot of them aren't necessarily exclusive to this set. But again, here, like, even with this Stormtrooper, like, this guy, no dual-molded lathe. You have some printing here, and there is some arm printing, but nothing too special, you know? So, I mean, this is a pretty big set. I see where a lot of the concerns come from. But honestly, like, from the product images, it looks quite big. And, you know, you get it in person, and, you know, there's definitely some scale here. But it's not quite as big as what was advertised, which might be a big contender for some, especially if Lego is going all in with this, not like round look. I think it's kind of a bad design here. But you know, again, if I find like any of the other figures, I will make a follow-up video. I think I know where they might be, actually. So again, don't take this as like, this is what the set looks like, this is all the figures, because, you know, I think it's supposed to have like 38 odd figures in it or so, and I don't have that many here. In fact, if we do a count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13 with another Vader up here. And we don't have like Han or anyone else like that. So again, this set is so big, it takes a long time to move, even though it's not as big as was advertised. So if I do a follow-up video, I might just focus on the actual minifigures and not show you where you can display them, or where they are meant to be displayed, rather. But, you know, there's some good stuff here, you know, like, the elevator is probably my favorite. It's a bit loud, but, you know, those, it's fine. So, like, you can fit just about, like, one guy on it. Like, we can, well, okay, hold on. Being a bit problematic here, but, you know, we have Boba Fett, and we can send him up, and he just fell off. I don't know, I think there should be studs in the elevator, so that doesn't happen. I actually just dropped that guy. Let me see if I can find him. I think that is a new Boba Fett, so I don't really want to lose that here. But getting back to the actual meat and bones of this set, I don't think the retail is quite there. I don't think for a lot of collectors it's going to be a set that's worth it. Especially, I think it does hurt as well, considering it is under the UCS line. And we have already gotten 3 really nice Death Stars underneath the UCS line. And, you know, I did watch an interview where one of the designers said, oh, well, UCS doesn't necessarily have to mean, like, full display or, like, the exterior is complete. And I guess he's right, but it is kind of a slap in the face because that feels like an excuse, considering, like, every other UCS ship we've gotten or anything like that is actually quite complete, like the Jango Fett ship we got recently, or the original Slave One ship we got quite a few years ago. Those all had completed exteriors and, to an extent, interiors. And it is quite interesting to see. So, actually, I'm going to take a pause and double-check something really quick. I'll go right back with you guys. Alright, I'm back. I just had to do something really quick, but, you know, no big deal. So, this is going to be a very quick kind of exit here, but if we go back over these figs really quick, I do want to just talk about them here. This is probably one of the better figures in the set, I think. You know, he's pretty cool. And we do have, it does come with 2 of these guys, I think. So these guys are pretty cool. You know, I think the value is there for some of these figures. But overall, with how big this thing is and the fact it's not flat, and if you've seen the photos of the backside, you know it just isn't, like, the best. There is a lot of problems this set has, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend one of you guys picking this up for multiple reasons. So, I think, like, that's it for the overall review, but I do want to quickly just go over everything again. So we have this seat up here, this hanger piece, this little, like, cabinet, the actual big stickers, not printed, very upsetting, I know, and, the actual, thing going on here. You know, we have the elevator, but a lot of the stuff that was even in the set isn't here. We don't have the trash compactor. The hot tub trooper I just didn't receive. I don't know if that was a mistake. I wasn't able to find him in any of the 81 bags that this thing comes in. So I do want to just, like, you know, mention that this is like a test set I got sent out for review. So maybe they didn't look into that one quite as much. It is a rather big set, but I did get all the actual parts to complete it. And as for accuracy, you know, I think some scenes are made a little bit too small, and it just, overall, the thing there, it just doesn't really work. But, like, you know, I mean, if people are really paying $1,000 for this, I think they kind of know what they're getting into. So I think that's about it for this, but I just do want to quickly highlight some things here. There is a lot of cool stuff here, but there's no Emperor's Throne Room, which feels kind of scummy since we did see it had, like, a really big section dedicated to it in the official product images. So I don't know what that's about, especially since that is such a powerful and important scene. And from what I've seen, the actual images, it looks like a pretty good brick-built replication of that. And I do want to admit here that, like, these are really strange bricks, you know? Like, they don't even look like Lego bricks, and I have no idea why that is. Like I said, I think maybe they felt like almost like they had to up the ante here in terms of overall shape, because a lot of these, like, look how round this is, you know? I feel like the one thing they did a good job on here is they knew, okay, we're gonna make an $1,000 Lego set, we have to kind of up the ante with our bricks. So we do get these really cool kind of pieces, even with these massive stickers that I had to hand apply myself, which is pretty upsetting. But, you know, we do have this, which is printed, and this is actually black, and all that stuff. Got this med bay area. I think there was like 15 rooms in the images, right? But here we have the med bay, Vader's meditation chamber with some like panels here, and the turbo laser. So you only get like 3 on this side, and on the other side it's just like the hangar area with this. So if you want to count these 3 separate sections in here as rooms, you can. That brings it up to like what, like 6 or 7, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then over here, if you count these, it is 7. And even if you count the elevator as an extra room, it's not really that big of a deal. So let's get this Vader out here. So yeah, I mean, this is probably the best figure in the thing. As you can see, we did get 3 Vaders for, I'm pretty sure 3 Vaders do actually appear here. We have him, versus Obi-Wan, then you have him versus Luke, and then I think there's one for the Princess Leia interrogation scene, even though I don't have the room here. So overall, I mean, the terrible advertising, the false advertising, like even these product images, you know, they look pretty good, but they're still upsetting for the $1,000 price point, even some of the better built areas from what we've seen, and some of those things I think just don't work at all. But this, having the set in hand, having it in person, it looks so much smaller. And honestly, there's so many things missing. I would say this is just kind of a scam. I would not recommend you buy this at all. I am pretty upset with this, but I will proudly display it. So I do want to quickly go over how you close this thing if you want to display it the way they want you to. Just because you saw me open it up, I might as well. So first of all, I do want to give Vader back his cape. So let's do that here. There we go. And we did have some things in these cabinets here. So let's see how many minifigs we can fit in here so we can see how tall they are. There's 1, 2, probably banking on 3 there. Yeah, about 3, about a good 3, you know. 3. Ooh, maybe we can fit a 4. Oh no, that was for loud. Not these guys though. So he might be good, but let's just see how many figures we can fit in these cabinets here, because I just, you know, there is a bit of humor with Lego. You know, Lego's not an entirely serious thing, so maybe we can kind of just have fun with that, just a little bit, you know, maybe to cheer us up, because we do have to put up with these absolutely atrocious prices in 2025, and as we are entering 2026, the lineup does not look any better from the leaks. I have heard of that $100 500 piece set of oh geez, what is it? Darth Vader's tie and Luke's X-Wing. It just does not look very good. You know, I'm very concerned about the price gouging happening. I mean, Lego bricks are very high quality. I'm sure you can look into it. There's definitely a reason why they have so much value over something like Mega Bloks. But recently, it just feels like Lego has just become very anti-consumer, or at least doesn't realize that, yes, there are children who collect these, but I think for the most part, we can all agree that the people who find the most enjoyment in our Legos are youngins, like little kids. Like when I got into Lego, I was very young. You know, it was something I enjoyed a lot as a youth. So it is upsetting to see this kind of increasing lack of, oh my god, and you see that there, just the quality control here is just really bad. You know, like this hinge should be stronger, but unfortunately it does use quite a weak Technic piece to hold it in place, so it is upsetting. We might just not be able to fit all these figures in here, and I really need to wrap this up. I have things to do, but you know, I wanted to get this video out just really quickly here. So why don't we just help finish this up here, and I'll show you how to put this thing away safely so you can do it yourself if you for some reason decide to purchase this Lego set. So first of all the figures, we do got to find a place to put them, because the first thing we are going to have to do, unfortunately, is we are going to have to close this area here, and we can't have any figures there when we do that, obviously. So let's just pick up all the figures we have right here. I did drop one, that's okay. Again, I don't know why they changed the minifigures for this set, and it's going to look really bad if you have figures you want to display with your set as well. So let's just unhinge this and unhinge this, and let that go down here for now. We're going to re-put it up later, don't you worry, just a bit. But we are needing to just kind of put these figures in a pile over here. It's not really the best thing to do, and I think it does damage them overall. But, like, there's so little studs here, you can't really set them up. I don't know why they marketed this whole like flat thing when it's not even the case. They're not even flat like how they're advertising themselves to be. We need to put the elevator away like this so it faces inwards. And then you bring the whole thing together and you just have to press pretty good. That down there. And for some reason this one just does not want to go through, so hold on. There we go. So as you can see, that is the Lego Death Star 2025 UCS $1,000 set. Now, again, it's not that big. The images are quite deceiving, and honestly, I can't support you guys going and get this. This is just very cheap money gouging from Lego, and it is quite disappointing. And, of course, it is flat, you know. So, even with the product images, they even look better than this. A lot of people don't think those look too good. So I can't really agree for you guys to go out and get them. Like, I do want to thank Lego for offering me a review set, even though they did make me spend, 75% of the actual retail price just to review it. You know, it seems kind of like free advertising, so I don't know what the move is there. But overall, I really can't support you guys getting this set. Now, I think there are good things about this set, and I do like some of the new mechanics. Some of these new bricks are quite attractive, but overall, the flatness of it is just such a bummer, really. So, I think that's it for me for today. But I did just kind of want to briefly show this off because it is definitely this thing that Lego has gotten a bit too comfortable doing, maybe. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video was useful for you. I hope Lego starts releasing slightly better sets in the future from a more realistic price point. So, because Lego is special to a lot of us, I'm sure. I've been a long-time collector of Lego, and honestly, I don't even have half the sets I wanted. Even the ones I wanted as kids, I didn't get much of. So, I do think it is important to remember that we are a broad community of collectors, army builders, and little kids who just want cool toys to play with. So, I think Lego does need to realize they do have multiple demographics they need to focus on, and this set right here just sets a bad precedent for how they're going to go about making Legos in the future, and honestly, it also just doesn't look that good for younger kids. Have you seen how expensive battle packs are getting? And you can talk about inflation and tariffs and everything you want, but Lego has been increasing prices for a long time now, and I do worry about how that is going to be. But hopefully, I was able to demonstrate everything you guys might have thought was interesting in this set, and I was able to, to very much so give it, I wanted to show off some of the good things of this set, because it's not all bad, but overall, for $1,000, it's just not worth it, you guys. But hopefully, like I said earlier, this video gives you all the confidence you need to decide whether or not you want to get this. And like I said, I will make a follow-up if I need to. I don't have the GWP, and I don't plan on getting it. But if you guys like this kind of stuff, if this is kind of your bread and butter, your jam, we can do more videos like this. But I won't be able to make videos for a while, just because monetarily this thing put me so in the gutters. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a good one.